watching Sky News at 5, live from Windsor. The big wedding is almost upon us. Harry and Meghan, of course, and we're hearing that it will be Prince Charles who will be walking Meghan down the aisle. It's been revealed that within the last hour or so. The royal couple make their last-minute preparations, as it's confirmed the Duke of Edinburgh will attend the nuptials. And as royal wedding fever takes hold, the party is already starting for the millions gearing up to celebrate across the country.
We're live here in the heart of the castle grounds for the first time, where final rehearsals have been taking place ahead of tomorrow's main event. It will be a day full of ceremony and tradition as we take a special tour inside St George's Chapel. And we'll bring you all the latest developments as Windsor prepares to celebrate the biggest royal event here for decades.
Also ahead on the programme, at least 8 people killed in a shooting at a high school in Texas. Former spy Sergei Skripal is released from hospital 2 months after he was attacked with a nerve agent in Salisbury. Fears of a new outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus as the death toll in the Democratic Republic of Congo climbs.
Hello, a very good afternoon to you. We are live in Windsor for you this afternoon. The area is absolutely buzzing with excitement as final preparations are made for that royal wedding. Thousands of people are here. Many have been camping out overnight to secure their positions for the big day, and many more are expected to arrive tomorrow. Lots of people are here already, as you can see. Hello, everybody. Very much a party atmosphere. Kensington Palace has confirmed that Prince Charles will walk Meghan Markle down the aisle. Did you know that? Yeah, of course you did, because you've been watching Sky, haven't you? Stepping down and taking up the place of her father, who sadly is still recovering from heart surgery. Our royal correspondent, Rhiannon Mills, reports.
It could not look more spectacular. Windsor Castle, a glittering fairy tale setting for the biggest wedding of the year. Harry and Meghan said from the start that everyone was welcome.
Oh yay! Oh yay! Oh yay! Welcome to Windsor here today. God save the Queen.
And along the high street, the crowds had accepted their invitation from both sides of the Atlantic.
These are world travelers, and so they ever said if there was a royal event that we would be attending. So literally the night that it was announced of their wedding in May, they booked a hotel. So we had hotels immediately.
Nobody does pomp and pageantry like the monarchy, and we just wanted to see the Queen and everyone, Will and Kate and the children, just everything. We wanted to take it all in.
Inside Windsor Castle, Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, was being welcomed by the Queen, as the biggest question of the week was also finally answered, with confirmation that Meghan has asked the Prince of Wales to walk her to the altar. It's along this incredible route that Meghan will travel with her mother by car before arriving here at Windsor Castle, where she'll be met by her future father-in-law. I'm told that the Prince of Wales was delighted to be asked and sees it as a very fitting way of welcoming her to the royal family. Another family member who'll also be there is the Duke of Edinburgh. Seen last week at Windsor Horse Show, there were concerns that he may not be well enough after having his hip replaced last month. With their family and fans in place, Harry's charities are looking forward to being a big part of the wedding celebrations. Tessie Ojo from the Diana Award will be in the congregation.
This invitation means so much to me personally, but also to the Diana Award. I think for us it's the validation of the work that we do and the opportunity to showcase how young people are making a difference in their community.
We're told that Harry and Meghan, like any couple, had last-minute meetings and rehearsals at the venue before they're due to spend the night apart. It hasn't been the most straightforward of royal weddings, but no one here is going to let that spoil the romance of it all. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News in Windsor.
Chatting to Rhiannon in just a second, but first you can see loads and loads of people are here already with, I don't know, 20 hours or so to go before they'll see the Royal Cup. Hello.
Hi.
Have you all been at school today? Obviously, because you've got your school uniforms on. How excited are you?
Really excited.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to?
Seeing the royal wedding.
Yeah, and seeing them in their carriage as they walk past later on. Are you going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or maybe watch it on Sky? Yeah. Oh, okay, live around the corner, which is nice in Windsor. Hello. Hi, are you local as well?
I am, yes.
Okay, are you going to come down tomorrow as well?
Yes, setting the alarm for 3:30 to be
morning. No, that's so early.
It's crazy.
Is that because of the security?
Yes, just to try and get a good spot.
Okay, and what is it that you most want to see? The wave after the wedding?
Yeah.
And the procession?
The atmosphere.
Yeah. And the weather's been kind.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Who else wants to talk to us? Oh, Jenny.
Yeah.
Hi. Are you local as well?
All the way from Leeds.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. My sister lives in Dorset, so she's a bit nearer, but we're having a girly weekend now. So,
fantastic.
yeah.
Have you got anything special planned for tomorrow? You're going to have a bar?
Just to wear a nice frock and enjoy it.
Oh, fantastic. Hello. You can see that you've got your Union flag around your neck.
Yes.
Where are you from?
South Africa.
Are you?
Yeah, with my family and all the boys there.
Okay.
My family as well. We are so excited about this moment.
Did you come over specially or were you on holiday anyway?
Actually, we are here for 3 months, so this is in the half of the month. So that's fantastic. So that's a wonderful opportunity.
And have you decided what the best spot is yet?
Yes. I'm not sure. We have to look for the best spot, yeah.
Okay, well, I would suggest you find it tonight because tomorrow it's going to be heaving. Something like 100,000, enjoy it, something like 100,000 people are expected. And you're coming tomorrow as well?
I am, yes. I actually work in the shop on the high street.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And is this Mum?
It is indeed.
Hi. So you want to see them go process past after they're married?
Yes.
Why is this one so magical, do you think?
I think because they're young, their age, you know, it's just special, and she's American.
Yeah.
And it's Prince Harry, so
All
it's
the young
fabulous.
girls love
We
Prince
all
Harry.
love Harry, don't
Love
we?
him.
Something special about Prince Harry, isn't it? I'll come chat to some more of you a bit later on. Thanks very much indeed for now. Let's go and chat to Rhiannon, should we? She is inside. Watch as we go through. So there's quite a lot of security here, as you can imagine. Are you going to pick me up on 3? Why don't we do that? And Rhiannon Mills is here. Hi, Rhiannon. Come and join me. What do you think of it?
It looks amazing. It looks spectacular. Where do you want me to sit?
Why don't you sit here?
Oh, perfect.
How exciting. What are we going to do about the planes?
Nothing, apparently.
Oh.
There's been no request put in to change the flight path. They were asked in a briefing whether or not they'd put in that request, but no, there'll still be planes going over as they're taking their vows.
I bet you £10 there isn't.
Well, actually, when the Earl and Countess of Wessex got married, when Sophie was doing her vows, a plane went over at just the wrong moment and drowned her out. So we might have to watch out for that. Hopefully not. Hopefully they'll sort the microphones out so we can hear it loud and clear.
Charles is going to walk her down the aisle?
Yeah, and I think it was one of those unanswered questions, wasn't it? And I think for any bride, that's obviously so important, an important part to have someone there supporting them on that moment where they head towards the altar. We've got a bit of an idea of the choreography of how this is all going to work. And of course, Thomas Markle, her father, was meant to do those duties. What's going to happen is Meghan will arrive at St George's Chapel. She will then walk part of the way within the chapel, the area that's called the nave. She'll walk through there with the Dean of Windsor and also her bridesmaids and page boys. And then halfway through the chapel, as you enter the area called the choir, that is where she'll be met by Prince Charles, who has said that he is so touched by the fact that he was asked to do these duties.
Is she going to walk up the steps on her own?
By the sounds of it, yes.
Wow, that's going to be tricky.
But we're not entirely sure. That's not all been confirmed at the moment. I know, and this is quite interesting, there are 10 bridesmaids and page boys, 6 bridesmaids, 4 page boys, ranging from as young as 2 years old up to just 7 years old. And I'm told that some of the rehearsals have been a little bit chaotic. There was a rehearsal yesterday, and I think they needed to have a few more rehearsals today to try and calm those little ones down, because of course she hasn't got a maid of honour. So the maid of honour isn't going to be there.
Why did she not go with a maid of honour?
Do you know what? I think she has a number of very close friends. So Jessica Mulrooney, for example, who she was incredibly close to when she lived in Toronto, when she was filming Suits. Jessica has also been advising her. She's been her stylist, and I think been very closely involved in choosing that wedding dress. But there are other close friends that she has, and I think she decided that actually they've been there as a fantastic support network, but actually on the day she didn't need a maid of honour. Instead, she's got this enormous gaggle of little children who'll be there beside her. beside her.
And where our studio is here, it's a fantastic spot, isn't it? Because they're going to go process straight past us.
It's amazing. So the first thing that we will see tomorrow in terms of this spot here is we will see Meghan Markle with her mother, Doria Ragland, in the car heading up towards Windsor Castle, which we can see looking splendid in the sunshine behind us. When they get inside Windsor Castle, there'll then be a moment when Doria gets out of the car and the bridesmaids and page boys are then teamed up with Meghan, and then they will, as a group, make their way to the St George's Chapel, and then we will see her head into the church, and yeah, that hour-long ceremony where eventually they will become husband and wife.
When will we see the first kiss?
Do you know what I asked? That was the question I asked in the wedding briefing.
We all want to know.
It got a big laugh. But no, it's the picture we want to see, isn't it? Because I think for William and Kate, it was the balcony moment. You have Buckingham Palace, the balcony lends itself perfectly to that. I did ask if it would be on the steps as they left the chapel, but I was told they may not pose there for photographs. So we'll see.
Oh, I hope they do. All of that will be revealed tomorrow. And you've got a fantastic location, haven't you, right on top of the guards roof.
I'll be on the guard room roof, hopefully down with you here as well.
Okay,
so
fantastic.
Yeah,
Looking
be all over the place.
That.
It'll be great.
Before that, we've got a correspondence, as you can imagine, right around Windsor. It's about a 2.5-mile route that they will be processing along. Something like, as I said, 100,000 people are likely to line that route to get their first glimpse of the married couple. Our senior correspondent is standing by for us, David Bowden. He's on Windsor High Street. David, what's the atmosphere like where you are?
Well, it's very tense right now, Kate, because we think something is about to happen. There's just been half a dozen heavily armed police officers walking up the road. They've closed the road. We've had the sniffer dogs out. So we think somebody important's about to arrive. But in the meantime, let's have a chat to the important people who are already here. This lady, for reasons beyond me, has come all the way from Australia, effectively for the weekend.
Just for the weekend. I flew in yesterday, home on Monday. But, yeah, we couldn't wait. Wanted to be here.
You must be mad.
No. I love the royal family.
What's the attraction? What's the lure of this?
Well, I grew up with them. You know, I saw their mother and father get married, and when they were born, they just feel like part of our family. So to me, they're very, very special, and I'm really pleased that Harry's met such a lovely young lady, and I hope they're going to be really happy together.
And your mate here is also from Australia.
Yes.
But there'll be a lot of households across the world like yours. You're here. Your husband and child have been to Legoland today because they're not interested at all, are they?
No, I'm on my own. I'm the crazy one in the family. So, yeah, they left me here, dropped me off and left me here on the sidewalk.
And you've had a special hat made. Just look at this. Show us this. No expense spared. We're going to assume you're Mrs. Carruthers, eh?
I am, yes.
Thank goodness for that. Otherwise, you'd have the wrong hat.
That's right.
What is it about this couple that made you come all the way over here?
Well, look, Harry's been my favourite from day dot. I think it grew stronger after the death of his mother and watching him as a small child after that. But he's just my favourite. To be honest, I love them all, but this is the one I knew I wanted to be here for. So that's it. I did it. I saved every penny and I'm here.
Well, it looks like you're going to have a fantastic time. You're right by the procession route.
I know.
And something's clearly about to happen. It can't be just exercise for all these policemen. So we'll carry on talking. This lady here actually went to the Queen's wedding.
Yes.
Extraordinary. Is that the only one you've been to, or have you been to loads since?
No. I've been to Charles and Di's, Fergie's and Andrews, Edwards. Didn't come to Charles's.
Oh, you said that like there was a reason. Why?
No, I don't like Camilla.
Oh.
Sorry, but I don't.
Controversial.
Yes. But,
okay, let's move on.
Yes.
Have you been to any of the others post that?
No, I've been to Queen Mother's funeral, Diana's funeral. Been to most things.
Wow.
Over the years.
And this one's clearly going to be different.
Yes.
Do you think that's good, moving with the times?
Oh, yes. We've got to move with the times. Nobody stays old forever, do they? You've got to move on. Yeah.
And what do you make of Harry and Meghan? A good couple?
Oh, yes. I think they're made for each other. Yeah. And I think they're clearly in love. So.
And as somebody who clearly lives and breathes the royals,
Yes.
What do you make of all this stuff with her dad? He's coming, he's not coming, he's had a heart attack, he's not had a
I
heart
think that's very sad. That's very sad for her. I mean, she's got a lot to cope with. I wouldn't like to face all these people tomorrow. And
Well, you're going to be facing half of them because they're across the street.
Yeah, but, you know, that's an added pressure, and I think that's very sad. Very sad.
And there's a technique to this, isn't it? You're here clearly good and early.
Yes.
What have you got in your bag of goodies to sustain you?
Well, I've got plenty of food in there, drinks, not much to drink, because we won't be able to go to the loo, right, after a certain time. Sleeping bag and everything else. So.
And the last one of this little group.
No, I'm not sure about this.
Oh, come on, it's too late now, it's happening.
Oh, go on then.
Why have you decided to come?
Because it's my first one. I'm never likely in my lifetime to probably come to another one. I love Harry. My mum loved Harry, and my mum died a few years ago, and Harry's the same birthday as she was. So I'm here.
You're here for your mum?
I'm here for my mum.
All right, ladies, enjoy. We still don't know exactly what's going to happen in the near future, but clearly something is. If Nathan just points over my shoulder, you'll see police horses, an array of police officers on foot, and nothing, quite frankly, is moving at the moment. But if you carry on without us, if anything does happen, we will be back. Okay.
OK, David, we are hoping against hope that potentially we might see Harry and William maybe do a walkabout right in the centre of Windsor. Certainly the traffic has been stopped and the security has increased significantly since I walked through Windsor High Street about an hour or so ago. Keeping an eye on that for you, as you can imagine. So also still to come, we are going to be taking you up to the roof of the guards room, which is where we will be able to see the first arrivals tomorrow. Anna Botting is there for us.
Yes, hello, Kay. And for the first time, we're right now in the heart of Windsor Castle, home to 39 monarchs over the last 1,000 years. Beneath us right now are the Queen's Guards, and behind me, the all-important St George's Chapel, the focus of tomorrow's wedding celebrations. The finishing touches still underway. The ladders have just been removed. The flowers, or rather the foliage, I think it is right now, which is adorning the south door, which is many of those lucky enough to be invited will be allowed in. And the florist Philippa Craddock revealing that foliage from native trees like silver birch, English oak, beech and ferns will all feature in these floral displays. Well, up the hill behind us, the round tower where the royal standard is flying. The Queen is at home. We know that Her Majesty has tea at 5 o'clock. Has she already met Meghan Markle to introduce her mother, Doria Ragland? We wait to find out. Final wedding rehearsals have also been taking place today in the historic chapel behind me, seeped as it is in royal history, as our royal commentator Alistair Bruce has been finding out.
Cloistered within the grounds of Windsor Castle, there are clear reasons why Prince Harry and Meghan have chosen to marry here, in St George's Chapel. It is surrounded by ancient battlements, both to contain the ceremony and shelter the couple. A private family chapel. It's one of England's most glorious architectural triumphs.
When Meghan Markle walks into this chapel, she steps onto a royal stage that was envisioned by Edward III at the start of the 100 Years' War and built by Edward IV in 1475.
The architecture is designed to draw the gaze up towards the heavens, but all eyes will be on Miss Markle as she processes towards taking her place in this building's 7 centuries of royal history.
The nave will be filled with the friends of the bride and groom, who will give encouragement to Meghan as she passes through and into the heart of St George's. This is the home of the Order of the Garter, and the banners of the knights, ladies, kings and queens remind you this is a very royal place.
The wedding service of Harry and Meghan will be exactly the same as any couple getting married in the Church of England. Except few couples pass through stalls where 1,000 knights have sat, over the graves of Henry VIII, one of his wives, and Charles I. to finally reach the place where their union will be confirmed.
The marriage will take place here, in front of the high altar and surrounded by their families. But for Prince Harry and Meghan, this place is full of the country's history. There are kings and queens in almost every corner. And in 1863, the future Edward VII married Princess Alexandra of Denmark on exactly the same spot. On that occasion, Queen Victoria, in mourning, watched from that balcony there. But Prince Harry will be watched by his grandmother, the Queen, sat there.
This building, the keeper of so much royal history, is about to witness a new chapter.
Well, Alistair Bruce is here with me now. And Alistair, for lovers of history, as you are, I know, and I am too, this place has absolutely everything, doesn't it? Why, though, is this the choice for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle?
Well, they spent quite a bit of their early time together, seeking a little bit of seclusion in the castle and in its confines. And I think because it's a family home, he knows it very well. He used to come here as a child often to have tea with his grandmother. And so he knows every corridor, every small room to go and hide in, because one of the great games that the royal children play is to use hide and seek. And there are plenty of places to play hide and seek in that
This is the biggest living castle in the world, isn't it?
Exactly. And also, you've got to remember that the family name of the royal family is Windsor. And so it is the family home in its truest form. And this chapel, as we know, contains so much history. And you were quite moved, I think, by walking over Henry VIII.
Yeah, I was mind blown, I have to say, and it's well worth remembering that it is open to the public on a daily basis, and you can come and worship on Sunday, not long after the royal wedding. But in terms of what happens, talk us through it. We've got, as we saw, the foliage already on the south door there, but that's not where the royal family will enter from.
No, they'll enter slightly further up. There's another limb sticking out from St George's Chapel, and beyond it is a tiny entrance called the Galilee Porch. And the Galilee Porch leads into where the old door to the original chapel, which was for Henry III. I mean, we're going way back. And what I think is amazing, I mean, it's a relatively modern chapel because it was built in 1475. But the older one was just beyond. And, you know, there's so much of that amazing English history here. And if you look at the roof, you see the royal beasts from heraldry. You have the Plantagenets beasts, the Tudor beasts, and the Anjou beasts, and also right back to William the Conqueror. And after all, he built a fortress here when he completed his conquest in 1066. I mean, 1066, we were all brought up on that, and we're right with it here.
You were lucky enough, obviously, to go and have a look round. You were lucky enough to go inside today for the final full rehearsal. Are you allowed to tell us anything about what happened?
Well, let me say this. All the rehearsals have now taken place. There's been the most marvellous amount of effort put into making sure that the music sounds wonderful, and it surely does. And also that everyone knows what they should do and where they should do it. We saw the armed forces yesterday, and the clergy and everybody else taking part had a chance to do that today. And, you know, it's really important that people do not come upon a great ceremony for the first time when they're taking part in it. And so, in a sense, I will be playing my part on behalf of Sky News, and so I had a chance just to see it all through, and that was really exciting. But we're keeping it all very much so that the explosion of excitement, precisely as it was envisaged by the bride and groom, will be shared by all Sky viewers tomorrow.
That was a long answer to tell us that he can't tell us anything about what's in the service. But there's been much made, hasn't there, about the Markle side of the family who is not coming. Not so much made about the royal family who's not coming, but there are some significant people who've been left off this slightly smaller list.
Well, you say they're significant. You've got to remember that Prince Harry is of a generation that I think he has all the relations of his own generation that are great friends of his, who he has always been brought up with coming. And I suppose we're of a slightly older generation, and we remember the Queen always being surrounded by the same Duke and Duchess of Kent, the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. And in a sense, they're an older generation, and I think that they will let the young get on and enjoy themselves.
I suppose the interest follows the heir, doesn't it, down the line,
absolutely.
and the heir and the spare, as we've got here. How many in total of the royal family would there be normally, though, do you reckon?
Well, I think that if you bring the entire royal family to an event, you're generally expecting about 82 to 84 people. But, I mean, that's the Queen's wider cousins within the Windsor family.
And for Prince Harry, he's so involved in charity and some of the expeditions he's been on. Those people are also being included, aren't they?
Yes, I mean, you know, that's what really matters to him. He's dedicated his life, really, particularly after being a soldier, serving in Afghanistan, to supporting charities associated with that, associated with his mother, the late Diana, Princess of Wales. I can hear some cheering going on
outside as well. So clearly, let's go back to Kay and find out what's happening. Kay.
Yeah, Kay, what's happening?
Oh, apologies. We shall continue, shall we?
Well, definitely. I can hear it. But it's happening right down in the high street.
I know it is.
Just below us here. So I would imagine a dust cart's arrived or something like that. That's what they normally cheer anything.
There are various things that could happen. Meghan Markle might be heading to a hotel as well, of course.
That's true.
They're heading off, aren't they, for a night apart in fine hotels not far from here. Prince Harry could possibly drive through Windsor Great Park to arrive here tomorrow. But he's arriving on foot, as we know, isn't he, tomorrow? And arriving at the West Steps.
He and his brother, the Duke of Cambridge, will walk around the Round Tower and all the way down this tarmac here and into the Horseshoe Cloister, which is off to my left. And in there will be quite a lot of representatives of his special charities. Now, we're told he'll walk straight up the steps. I think he'll go over and talk to them. But we'll see tomorrow. And, you know, he will come onto this great stage that has been prepared in the chapel, which will be tremendous for everybody to see tomorrow.
And below us as well, invited members of the public, local school children. It's going to be quite a festival atmosphere here as well, isn't it?
Yes, and this is a wonderful place to frame it. You know, again, you were saying earlier on, this is all not just the backdrop to a great film set. This is the history of England. And it's now the home of the royal family of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And the Queen, as you say, is here. And her standard flying out. And they'll have the great state standard, which is 36 feet long. Rather larger than that little tiny thing they've got at the moment, but it'll look fantastic, and the whole thing will be dressed overall for celebration.
And aside from claiming a princess of their own, no wonder the Americans are loving it just for the history. Alistair, thank you. Kay,
thank you very much.
Lovely, thanks very much indeed. So they're just behind me here. That's exactly where Alistair and Anna are as we speak, with that fantastic view down to St George's Chapel. It will be a magnificent view tomorrow, and we've got it in ultra high definition for you as well. Our coverage starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. The service itself is at midday, as we were hearing there from Alistair, and then we will see the married couple for the very first time at the top of the West Steps. Will we see the first kiss there? Oh, I don't know. I really hope so. What I can tell you is that very shortly after that, they will get into a horse-drawn open top, because it looks as though it's going to be selling carriage, a landau carriage that we often see at Ascot. We saw it actually when William and Kate got married, when they went along the Mall. This couple, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to start at the castle, and then they're going to go through the centre of Windsor, and then they're going to come along the long walk. I want to tell you about it in a little bit more detail. Here we go. The timeline of the events for tomorrow. 1 o'clock, the carriage procession from Windsor Castle begins. Members of the armed forces will line the streets to provide ceremonial support. The Windsor Castle Guard from the 1st Battalion, the Irish Guards, along with members of the Royal Navy, Royal Marines, 3 Regiment Army Air Corps, the Royal Gurkha Rifles, and there's more, and RAF Honington will all be involved. The main part of the parade will be the long walk, which is where we are, and it's a 2.5-mile path that should give royal fans the best views of the carriage. Harry and Meghan will then return to St George's Great Hall, where they'll be the guest of honour at a reception hosted by the Queen. So that's going to take them around about 35 minutes or something like that, and then they'll be returning to their guests at the Great Hall in Windsor Chapel there, and then they'll be celebrating there. They're all going to have something to eat. Apparently it's that posh bowl food, which is very fashionable at the moment. And then in the evening they're going to have another party, which is going to be hosted by Prince Charles. We're going to cover all of that for you here on Sky News from this fantastic studio. I'll show you all around it in just a second. Do stay tuned our way. Hello again, you're watching Sky News. We are live for you in Windsor, where final preparations are being made for the royal wedding. The groom and the bride-to-be, who arrived in town this afternoon, have confirmed that Prince Charles will walk Miss Markle down the aisle after her father was forced to pull out. With all eyes on Harry and Meghan, the scene of a bride in white being escorted by police through the streets of Windsor caused some confusion amongst the crowds today when Vicky Compson first booked her wedding 9 months ago. She'd been expecting a quiet affair with just close friends and family. But as Caterina Vitozzi reports, the royal wedding changed all of that.
Of all the days, of all the places, Vicky is tying the knot today in Windsor.
This is crazy. This is a bit surreal. This is really weird. I don't know what to make of it all. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I know.
And with less than 24 hours to go until Prince Harry and Meghan get married here, she's got the royal treatment.
Thank you.
We met Vicky in the run-up to her big day. Most of us have to worry about what the weather will do, but she's had other things on her mind.
I wanted to be as relaxed as possible, and we went to a lot of places to look around as well. I've been engaged 3 years, and then it took us so long to decide on just doing it somewhere simple and easy on your doorstep, and it's turned out to be chaos, really.
Now the well-wishers have come to Windsor today, and not all of them are here for Vicky and Aaron. The majority are for the royal couple tomorrow, but this being the last wedding before that of Prince Harry and Meghan certainly gives royal fans a chance to get used to waving flags and cheering loudly.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Vic.
Royal fans are all over town. But the best place to glimpse the newlyweds on Saturday will be here. Harry and Meghan's carriage will drive up the iconic long walk into Windsor Castle just after they've said "I do." Local school children have provided some special decorations.
There's a different culture that has British. Yeah, and it's American because Meghan's American. I'm looking forward to when they come down the carriage on the road with all the horses and Meghan's dress and all the cake, because I really like
cake. And a Windsor Youth Band has been perfecting a number that tomorrow we can expect to hear a lot more of. Caterina Vitozzi, Sky News in Windsor.
We are on the long walk. This is where the royal couple, once they're married, will be coming along in their horse-drawn carriage tomorrow. Very much looking forward to that. And I don't know if we can just turn around. You can see that's where our studio is. So we are going to get a fantastic view of the royal couple as they head along this 2.5-mile long walk. It connects the castle behind us right up to Windsor Great Park, and this is where quite a lot of the media will be gathered, and something like 100,000 people are going to be here and in Windsor town as well. Lots of little people here already, and I saw a little girl earlier. Here she is. Hello. Look at her t-shirt. I'm sure that Meghan would absolutely love this. Hello. Can I say hi? What's your name?
Cara.
Cara, how old are you?
7.
Are you? When are you 8?
Next year.
Next year. This is a beautiful t-shirt. I love that. Girls can do anything. Who do you want to see? The princess or the
princess.
The princess. She's going to be beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a princess when you grow up? Don't we all? It's lovely to see you. Enjoy tomorrow. Bye. Lots of little people here. It is absolutely going to be a family event. Lots of young men here as well, obviously quite keen. Hello. What's your name? I'm sorry? Elsie. How old are you, Elsie? 3. You're 3? Are you going to be here tomorrow?
You want to be.
Yeah. Do you live locally, Mum?
Yeah, we're in Windsor as well.
Okay, what's the plan tomorrow?
I don't know. We said we might come and walk in if we can. So, yeah. It's just whether your little legs will stretch all that way.
Yeah, because security's going to be really tight tomorrow as well, of course, isn't it? But if not, you'll watch it on the telly.
Yeah, definitely.
On Sky News, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nice to see you. Excuse me. Hello. Who are you looking forward to seeing? What's your name?
Josh.
Hi, Josh. How old are you?
I'm 11.
Are you? Of course you are. Proper. Who do you want to see?
Harry.
Harry. Why is that? It's because he's like a big tough guy.
Yeah, kinda.
And,
and also because he likes rugby.
He does like rugby. And do you follow him with the Invictus Games? That's okay. That's the charity that's involved with for people who've been injured while they've been service personnel. And they're like, is this your brother?
Oh no, these are my friends.
Oh, how old? Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Morgan.
Hello, Morgan. How old are you?
7.
7. Okay. Are you coming tomorrow?
Yeah.
Excellent. Who do you want to see?
Harry.
Harry. Why?
Because I've seen him on TV lots of times.
Yeah.
And because, he's really famous.
He is really famous, and she's really famous as well, you know. She's a very famous actress, and she's going to be a princess. Hello? Do you want to talk to us? You're sort of like... So you're older, aren't you? So you don't really like doing this television nonsense. How old are you?
10.
Are you? Who do you want to see? What's your name?
Spencer.
Hi, Spencer. That's a very posh name. I know. Who do you want to see, Spencer?
Harry.
Why?
I honestly don't know.
Because he's a very handsome rugby player and a prince. It's good to see you, Spencer. Enjoy. Hello. Can I have a lick of your ice cream? Oh, go on. Just a little one. Thank you. What's your name?
Isabel.
Isabel. That's a beautiful name. How old are you, Isabel?
8.
Are you? Are you coming tomorrow?
Well, I get to watch from my house.
Oh, that's nice. But you came along today just to see what's going on, and then you can see where everything is tomorrow. You can say, I stood there. Yeah. Hopefully you'll be watching us on TV. And who do you want to see? I'm guessing you want to see the new princess, do you?
Yeah.
Of course, she's going to look beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah.
Well, you enjoy it. It's lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much for talking to us. I'll come back and talk to you a little bit later on. In the meantime, though, how cool is our set? Do you really like it? It's amazing. And we're going to use this tomorrow for you as well. And we're going to be in ultra high definition from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. With us tomorrow, also with us today, is Tanya Hunt, who is the Deputy Editor of LUK. Hi!
Hi, how are you?
How are you feeling about everything?
I'm feeling very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited to be here.
You know her?
Well, I edited her. So when I first joined Elle, she was the first writer I edited in my new role there. And so this was about 3 years ago. She wrote a piece for us in 2015 and then went on to write for us again. But yeah, that was sort of my introduction into the Elle world, so to speak, editing Meghan Markle.
Okay, what was she like when you met her? Did you actually meet her, or did you deal with her on the phone?
I didn't, because she was in Canada.
Okay.
And I was in London, so it was quite remote. And so I was sending edits through her agent, and there was, the back and forth that happens between an editor and a writer, but it was happening remotely because she was in Canada. But she was great. She was very professional, very fast as a writer, and with her turnarounds of edits and things. So, I mean, she was an absolute pleasure to work with on that front, but we didn't have a sort of face-to-face conversation or anything about the article itself.
Does she write well?
I have to say, I was really impressed with her writing style. I mean, the thing is, she had a blog that she was running at the time called The Tig.
Yeah. Which she's closed down now that she's going to be a royal.
Yes. And we were impressed with the writing on her blog. So I have to say, when you are editing a celebrity, so to speak, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you might have to talk the story out of them or completely rewrite it. But with Meghan, there was none of that. Yeah, her writing was really personable and very clean. And she had a nice structure in place. So yeah, it was a pleasure.
What did she write about?
Well, it was interesting because she wrote about her experiences navigating being a biracial woman growing up in America, particularly in the aftermath of the Rodney King riots. So it was a particularly charged time in the country, and there was a lot of polarizing rhetoric at the time, and it was a really interesting time to be growing up in Los Angeles, period, let alone as a biracial woman. So she wrote about her experiences through childhood on through her time in Hollywood, and it was quite it really resonated with her readers. It was one of our top performing articles online that year. at Elle. So it was something that really resonated with women in England, but all over the world, that very unique experience that she had.
Did you write for her or did she write for you? What happened? How did you approach each other?
Well, it was interesting because, you know, again, I think through her blog, she was already sort of used to kind of writing in the first person and writing about her experiences. But she even said herself in this article she was going much deeper, so that was a first for her. So she wrote the piece, and then from there we worked on things like structure, and you know, I asked her to go a bit deeper and to, you know, push a bit further back into her experiences, which she you know, ultimately did. And I think that's why the piece resonated so strongly with women, because she told quite some really personal, painful stories.
Can you tell us one?
Well, just things like, you know, being quite young in school, and there was a census and being asked to choose, to tick a box, whether or not she was African American, white, Latina, and she just felt paralyzed, not knowing, you know, she didn't want to alienate either parent. And, you know, the experience of her father telling her to draw her own box, which I thought was quite telling, because, you know, she's been doing that her entire life. And
I've heard that story. Did she actually draw her own box? I know Dad said that that's what she should do.
She did it. She went home. So she was so upset. She went home and told her father about it, who was understandably very angry. And so I think in the course of parenting her, he just said, you know, next time that happens, you make sure you draw your own box. You tell the world who Meghan is. Don't let them tell you. And I think we're really seeing that play out in her adulthood as well. But there were other stories, like there was an incident where she was in a parking lot with her mother when she was much older. And I guess her mother didn't pull out of the parking space quickly enough for this driver who was waiting, and he just started hurling
racial abuse at her.
Yeah, racial abuse at her. And that was understandably deeply upsetting for her. So there were lots of stories like that, or people not necessarily realizing that she's biracial and just saying completely racist things in her company. So, I mean, these are not unusual stories. You know, there are biracial people all over the world who have these experiences. I have a son who's mixed race who might go on to experience some of these very same kinds of things. But they were relatable, and she was really quite personal and candid, and so I think it just really spoke to a lot of people.
Okay, it's good to talk to you.
It's great to talk to you.
I know you're going to stay with us, aren't you? And you're going to be with us throughout the day tomorrow.
I'm looking forward
as well.
to it.
Really looking forward to it.
Thanks,
What do you think of our studio?
I know, this view is incredible.
Isn't it incredible?
I feel like a tourist in London. I'm so excited.
Yes, so do I. And I've lived here 35 years. Anna is the other side of that wall for us, and she's just above the guards' room on the roof there. Spectacular view where you are as well, Anna.
Yeah, cracking studio as well. Kay, thanks very much indeed. Well, any wedding, as we know, can be extremely stressful to organise, but imagine planning a wedding of this magnitude. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have invited 600 people to their wedding and are having an afternoon reception for their guests here in the castle grounds, followed by a smaller evening reception hosted by Prince Charles at Frogmore House. Well, I'm joined now by wedding planner Peregrine Armstrong-Jones, who is no stranger to royal weddings. He organised the weddings of both Peter Phillips and Zara Phillips. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
So much experience. Where are we at, really? Are we seeing the finishing touches? Have they done all they can? Are they beginning to think about going to their hotels for a night apart?
OK, so what we're seeing now is the culmination of 6 months of planning. And we're actually seeing a calm period now where everybody knows what they're doing. We're seeing the rehearsals being finished. Rehearsal time was today, and tomorrow is showtime. So this is not something that has been cobbled together over the last few days. It's something that's been put together by the royal household's experts, who are world-class, and they just know how to do this.
And we're listening, and I don't know if you can hear it on the microphones, beautiful sound coming out of St George's Chapel.
Beautiful
We think
sound.
the choir is doing a final rehearsal, and if it's anything like that tomorrow, then, you know, you've got to stay tuned. It's absolutely beautiful. Take us back then. You've got a blank canvas. Where do you start? And how much is this a collaboration between Harry and Markle, the wedded couple-to-be, and the Lord Chamberlain's office, who runs the show?
OK, well, Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle and the royal household staff mastermind this whole event. And it's not just confined to the castle. You have to think also in terms of what's going on in the town. and what's going on in terms of the media.
Can I just stop you there, actually? We are just seeing Prince William about to leave the King Henry VIII gate here. I'm trying to see who is on the other side. Looks like he's in a vehicle, I think, probably. So stand by for that. Oh, he's reversing. Maybe he's decided he can't actually get through. But he's just being brought round. Anyway, Prince William, talk us through what we're seeing here, then.
OK, so we're seeing here members of the royal family coming and going. And we have these huge crowds outside, really massive crowds in Windsor with this air of expectation. And tomorrow the crowds, of course, are going to get even bigger. From 5 o'clock in the morning, the roads are being sealed off. There we are. We can hear the crowds outside reacting to the wonderful sight of the royal family coming and going through the main gates.
Yeah. And this is wonderful, isn't it? Because they've said they want interaction with people, which is partly why, there we go, Prince Harry, the groom-to-be, and his brother, his best man, of course, coming out to greet the crowds. And this is exactly what those people have been waiting for. Let's just listen, shall we, to the crowd's reaction. This is exactly what makes people adore Prince Harry, going straight to a young girl, broadly smiling, relaxed, confident, and so friendly.
There we are, and we've been told all the way along that Prince Harry's wish was that this is a wedding that he will share with the country. And here we see it. We see Prince Harry and Prince William doing what is typical then, greeting the crowds and getting in amongst the people. And tomorrow we're going to see even more of this. We're going to have 2,000 people in the grounds of Windsor Castle. Everybody is invited. And look at this wonderful scene of them engaging in the way they do so brilliantly with the people.
And these people, of course, have flown in from miles away. Australians, a lot of Americans, no doubt. They will get an American princess by this time tomorrow.
That's right. We've got a huge representation here from America. And walking around the streets, a lot of American accents everywhere. So it's a really lovely sight. And isn't it great to just see everybody being so relaxed here?
It does help that he's got a huge team behind him, certainly, don't you think?
Yes, and indeed from last night, there have been people camping out on the streets. We expect to see that again this evening. And just a wonderful scene on a summer's day in Windsor, where the whole town has engaged in typical Windsor style. It's just wonderful to see this kind of occasion. There we have Prince Harry greeting everybody in the crowd, doing what he does best.
Alistair Bruce, our special events commentator, is here as well. We had a bit of wind, didn't we, that this might happen, but how amazing that they're going onto the streets of Windsor.
We had a howling draft they were coming. And what's so fantastic, this is precisely what was done just before the wedding of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. It's an opportunity for this connection. You know, Prince Harry is absolutely adored by the people out there. They're wishing him well. Prince William, who's clearly getting ready for his best man speech tomorrow, and I think going to give an excoriating response to the fact that Prince Harry gave him quite a hard time, a bit of a roasting when Prince William was married. But, you know, these two have been up with Her Majesty the Queen for tea today. They've probably had the chance to talk through tomorrow's events. And all of them are well rehearsed with the events that we're going to see tomorrow. They were all taking part in different elements of the rehearsals. And here's a wonderful chance for all these people. They've been waiting for ages, haven't they, Anna?
Much is made, obviously, of what Meghan Markle is going to wear tomorrow. But what's Prince Harry going to wear?
Well, it's a bit difficult, isn't it? I got into terrible trouble for saying that I thought he'd be wearing his tails, but I think what he'll probably do is wear military uniform. And he's recently been made Captain General of the Royal Marines. He might go for that. He's been serving in the Household Cavalry. He was in the Blues and Royals, marvellous uniform that he wore when he was at his brother's side in Westminster Abbey when the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge got married. Now, he might go for that. He's also been a pilot in the Army Air Corps, and he tended to wear
his household covering uniform for that as well, with a light blue beret. So, I don't know, he's also got jobs in the Royal Navy, which he does on behalf of the Queen, and also the Royal Air Force.
And Peregrine, this wedding, of course, is a fusion, if you like, of Windsor, where we are, and the west coast of America. What elements should we be looking out for tomorrow, do you think, to see that marrying of these two cultures and these two nations?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what American touches are given to the wedding tomorrow. As you know, we've already seen American ink printed onto English card for the invitation, which was a lovely nod to America at the beginning of this whole process. And then, of course, we have this amazing backdrop of Windsor Castle as the venue for the marriage, which really can't be beaten. It's so splendid, and what a wonderful setting.
What is wonderful also is seeing the delight in the faces of those people there. Do you think the pressure, Alistair, is partly off Prince Harry, knowing that that great, long, terrifying list of dignitaries that was presented, as we know, to Prince William, that he hasn't had to do it? You know, we know that Prince William went to Granny, didn't he, and said, what am I supposed to do with this?
Well, for Prince Harry, it is a different existence. He's set on a different life path, and his elder brother was, like the Queen, set aside to be sovereign one day. And so Prince Harry is free of all that, and he's been able to have an enormous amount of fun as a youngster, and as he grew up in the army, he was able to go where Prince William wasn't, out to do his stuff as a soldier in Afghanistan, and he's hugely respected by the armed forces for that. But they're both tremendous at working with each other. And I can see that, you know, everybody in this crowd is going to have the chance to speak to them both. And, you know, the police have cordoned off a pretty wide area out there, but these two tend to operate off-piste, and, you know, with the help of a teddy bear, that prince will go wherever in order to cheer up children, make them feel good, and, you know, everyone's got these marvellous additions to their outfits today, red, white and blue, and each person reaching out. Now, one thing that's very difficult on walkabouts is when people present you with a camera with a lens on it. It's much easier to interact with people when you've got their eyes to talk to.
And there's a self-imposed rule, isn't there, amongst the monarchy, no selfies, no autographs. And these are the sort of details that Meghan Markle will have to start to learn as she's marrying into this family, which is an institution.
Well, it'll come naturally to Meghan Markle. She's very, very good at this already. She will have absolutely no problems in the way ahead. And she's got such great support with the royal family, who are all experts on this. And isn't it just wonderful to see how Prince Harry is greeting everybody there in the crowd? He's so good at this. And the crowd, having waited so patiently, is just a lovely sight.
So what can they achieve as a couple, do you think, in the future? Meghan Markle, with her experience, already good at it, you say. Prince Harry, who has a natural flair. They're going to be a global partnership, aren't they, with massive impact?
They're a global partnership. I think it's possibly over to Alistair's expertise on that question.
Well, what I will say is, you know, the Queen has appointed Prince Harry as the representative for young people in the Commonwealth. And just look at that electric personality he's got. He inherited that directly from his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales. And, you know, you get a sense that she is ever present in his life. And I sense that tomorrow in the service we'll feel a poignancy that she is not present. But he lives her life on her behalf by his energy, his enthusiasm, and the way he carries his whole rapport with people on behalf of the Queen, leading this element of constitutional role as a prince in the United Kingdom.
He started to turn back there and they wouldn't let him. He's still being pulled down the road, isn't he? And make no mistake, everybody's hanging out of the windows. Every balcony is filled with people trying to get a glimpse of this.
And precisely so, because this is why they've come out. They know people have been camping out here. They've been waiting. I wonder whether they'll go elsewhere on the processional route, where also people are waiting.
That's what he was looking at. There's masks everywhere, isn't there? But he was certainly... He's got a great sense of humour, hasn't he? And again, that's why people warmed to Prince Harry so strongly.
I'll bet you said, oh, Granny. You know, you can imagine it. And that kind of touch which people really respond to. You know, it's just a young person who's excited about getting married tomorrow. And he's probably just in the last few minutes said goodbye to his bride as she's gone away. You know, that sort of frisson moment that a husband on the eve of a marriage must have when he says goodbye. And, you know, the next time you're going to meet,
I love
There'll be lots of crowds like that.
Lovely crowds, the cheering crowds we can hear from opposition here. Prince William, the role of Prince William as well, a very important best man. He's been through this before, Peregrine. Will he be comforting his brother, pointing him in the right direction, do you think, being a real support at moments like this?
Well, isn't it wonderful to see the family togetherness here? And we see the walkabout in Windsor just works so well. They're so good at it, they're so relaxed. And what a joy it's been for the crowd to have them walk around.
He's hanging on to that teddy, though, isn't he? I mean, clearly, that's... Oh, look, there you go. Seen somebody didn't get a chat, so we'll go over and try and make sure everyone... They don't meet him, they'll meet the teddy. You know, they've been the most marvellous pair. Two brothers, lost their mum, and together they've just dealt with whatever's been bowled at them. And they've found a way to represent the Queen and to make sure that, particularly as they get ready for this wedding tomorrow, and we say goodbye to them as they go into the Henry VIII's gate and get themselves ready. They'll be coming out right behind us any second now, getting back into the car and going back up to the castle.
There we see the incredible backdrop of this castle, which has been here since Norman times, since William the Conqueror.
Well, I was just trying to see if they were behind us, actually, because I can see their car. They'll be whisked away, certainly, but lovely, lovely to see that. Do you think that they came out to meet those people, some of whom have been trying to camp? The tents keep getting cleared. I saw it earlier today. Some of them have certainly been here since Wednesday, but here they come, as you say, coming out of the King Henry VIII gate, which is literally 20 metres from us, and I can see, as you're re-running those pictures, the two brothers are in the car behind us, if we can get behind us, going straight up towards the round tower there, underneath the Royal Standard, driving off, waving, in fact, to some of the people there who were putting the flowers out at the south door, which is obviously where most of the people, the congregation, will arrive tomorrow.
That's right. They're heading on up to the castle. They're going in their different directions after they have sorted themselves up at the castle itself. Now, you see, they're going off to the left, which is the route that the carriage will take tomorrow, go round the round tower and into the quadrangle where the Queen has her apartments, and that's the main royal part of this amazing fortress, started by William the Conqueror in 1066. You know, there is so much history, and there, the new page, and tomorrow, another story begins for the royal family.
Why can't Prince Harry stay the night here? Why does he go off to a hotel, do you
Well,
think?
I think he's probably chosen to do that. I don't know why. There are plenty of rooms. But, you know, I suspect he wants to be preparing with those around him who he most wants, and, you know, who can blame him for that?
So Prince Harry, Prince William have been greeting the crowds, waiting patiently outside Windsor Castle before he heads off to a hotel. Separated from his bride tonight, a mark of tradition. We will see what fusion there will be between Windsor Castle, or the House of Windsor, and the west coast of America.
There's a wonderful royal tradition that they never have brides wearing veils, covering their faces. So, you'll see her tomorrow.
Heading to a 5-star hotel not too far away from here. Also, we should be seeing Meghan Markle arriving at her luxury hotel. It's a different one. That, again, not too far away from here. Should see those pictures within the next hour or so. Lots of questions about what she will be wearing tomorrow. Not least, who will have made the dress, and will she be wearing a tiara? There are some suggestions that potentially she could be wearing the Spencer tiara, Diana's tiara that she wore for her wedding. It has not been seen in public since Diana tragically died back in 1997. Could we see that being worn by Meghan Markle as she becomes a Duchess? Also, what title is she going to get? We should find out around about 8 o'clock in the morning. Some suggestions that they could be the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. That is in the gift of Her Majesty, and we will find out, as I said, around about 8 o'clock tomorrow. We've got our programme for you here on Sky News in ultra high definition from this rather swanky studio. The castle just behind us here. We are on the long walk. The couple will be processing past us when they become man and wife. Probably see that about 1:15, something like that. You are watching our coverage live from Windsor. It's absolutely buzzing with with excitement as final preparations are made for the royal wedding. We saw the brothers just a few moments ago come out and greet the crowds just outside the palace. William was there as well. He's going to be the best man or supporter, as they are known as far as the royals are concerned. Thousands and thousands of well-wishers who have gathered here. We saw Harry shaking hands with so many people just outside the building, actually, where his father got married not too long ago, and here taking special trouble to speak to some of the youngsters that have gathered here today. Lots and lots of families gathering to pay their respects to the happy couple ahead of the big day tomorrow. Rhiannon Mills has been getting the very latest for us.
It could not look more spectacular. Windsor Castle, a glittering fairy tale setting for the biggest wedding of the year. Harry and Meghan said from the start that everyone was welcome.
Oh yay! Oh yay! Oh yay! Welcome to Windsor here today. God save the Queen!
And along the high street, the crowds had accepted their invitation from both sides of the Atlantic.
These are world travelers, and so they ever said if there was a royal event that we would be attending. So literally the night that it was announced of their wedding in May, they booked a hotel. So we had hotels immediately.
Nobody does pomp and pageantry like the monarchy, and we just wanted to see the Queen and everyone, Will and Kate and the children, just everything. We wanted to take it all in.
Inside Windsor Castle, Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, was being welcomed by the Queen, as the biggest question of the week was also finally answered, with confirmation that Meghan has asked the Prince of Wales to walk her to the altar. It's along this incredible route that Meghan will travel with her mother by car before arriving here at Windsor Castle, where she'll be met by her future father-in-law. I'm told that the Prince of Wales was delighted to be asked and sees it as a very fitting way of welcoming her to the royal family. Two of the other key players in this wedding, the Archbishop Justin Welby and Bishop Michael Curry, spoke of what an honour it will be to join the royal family in witnessing this marriage.
It's a great party, and the party doesn't start after the service. The party starts with the service in the presence of God, and we celebrate the whole thing together.
Having seen them from afar, I've seen two real people who are obviously in love. And when I see them, something in my heart leaps. And I think that's why 2 billion people are watching.
Another family member who'll also be there is the Duke of Edinburgh. Seen last week at Windsor Horse Show, there were concerns that he may not be well enough after having his hip replaced last month. With their family and fans in place, Harry's charities are looking forward to being a big part of the wedding celebrations. Tessie Ojo from the Diana Award will be in the congregation.
This invitation means so much to me personally, but also to the Diana Award. I think for us it's the validation of the work that we do and the opportunity to showcase how young people are making a difference in their community.
We're told that Harry and Meghan, like any couple, had last-minute meetings and rehearsals at the venue before they're due to spend the night apart. It hasn't been the most straightforward of royal weddings, but no one here is going to let that spoil the romance of it all. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News in Windsor.
Not too far apart, though. They're both in luxury hotels not too far away from Windsor. We will see them in glorious ultra-high definition here on Sky News from 9 o'clock in the morning. Right now, though, let me introduce you to someone who'll be taking part in events tomorrow, and that is Captain Tom Mountain, Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment. Hello to you. Thank you. I love your outfit.
Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness me, how impressive is that? Tell me about the outfit first of all, the uniform.
So the outfit we're wearing today is an outfit that we wear when we exercise our horses on a daily basis in Knightsbridge, and it's also the outfit we wore for the rehearsal yesterday for the wedding. This won't be the outfit we'll be wearing tomorrow. We'll be wearing our more sort of elaborate, more extravagant uniform tomorrow, our finest.
And what does that consist of?
So we go to our cuirasses, which are synonymous to us when we ride on the Queen's Birthday Parade and other parades, and we wear our state helmets with our plumes, our red and white plumes, and we carry our swords as well.
You carry the sword. What do you do with the sword?
So we'll be just carrying the sword as we ride on the horse, And we will also use it to give a royal salute to the married couple when they leave the church.
How does that go?
So it's
quite tricky, isn't it, the salute with the sword?
It is, but it's something that we practice on a regular basis, and we're well versed and
Can you maybe illustrate it or not?
Yes, of course. So you carry your sword like this, and you punch your sword out, and you bring it all the way around, and then drop it down, and that is our royal salute, which we give to members of the royal family.
And where will you be tomorrow?
I had the privilege of being on the steps of St George's Chapel, to the left of the steps as you look at them, so right next to the married couple when they leave.
Okay, so you won't be there when they come when she comes up the steps, when Meghan comes up the steps, but you'll be there to make sure that when they are a married couple, they have all the pomp and circumstance that they could possibly expect.
Absolutely, yeah. We're there for their exits from the service.
Okay, it's an important day for you guys as well, isn't it? Because he's one of your own.
Hugely important. We're an operational regiment first and foremost, based here in Windsor, and then we also have our ceremonial side in Knightsbridge. Prince Harry served with our operational regiment. He went to Afghanistan with the regiment back in 2008. So hugely important. One of our owners getting married, so a huge privilege and an honour to be part of it.
Does that put a little bit extra pressure on you?
Of course, it's natural. There's pressure, there's excitement. It's been building as we get closer and closer to the event, but our training will kick in, and hopefully we'll deliver the best possible part of the day that we can do for the married couple.
Okay, now he is not a particularly official royal, is he? I mean, he likes things to be quite relaxed. We've seen him in various different guises. It must be quite hard for him to see many faces that he recognises in all your glory and keep a straight face.
Of course, but having been a soldier, I'm sure he fully appreciates what we're trying to do and our part. So I'm sure, he can sympathise with what we're trying to achieve, but also hopefully appreciate our small part in his wonderful day.
What could go wrong?
Absolutely nothing, of course, absolutely nothing. Lots of training's gone in. Clearly we're riding horses on the day as well, so with an animal comes a variety of sort of unknown, but both horses and men have been well trained and well drilled for tomorrow.
Okay, is this a whistle?
It is indeed a whistle. It's a uniqueness that the Blues and Royals have. So the Household Cavalry is the Blues and Royals and Lifeguards, and Blues and Royals, which Prince Harry was, we have a whistle on our Sam Brand.
And when do you blow it?
We don't. It's purely for ceremonial purposes now. In bygone years, it would have been used to maybe signal or in an emergency, but now we don't use it. It's a ceremonial purpose.
Do you still check that it's working?
No, I haven't actually checked that it's working.
Do you want me to try it for you?
You can if you wish, but...
Should I? What do you think? Should I have a go? Go on then, let me have a go. Let me have a go. Should we give it a go? Ready? It does work.
I think it works. My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If it was there, it had to be done, didn't it? David Bowden is standing by for us. He is in the centre of Windsor, where we saw the two young princes just a few moments ago. David, fever pitch there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, we were there. I kept shouting at both Harry and William. Those guys are good at avoiding questions because I'm not quiet, but they just breezed on past talking to the small children. I managed to have a chat with a little girl called Meghan, who Harry had a long conversation with. He asked her whether the weather was going to be okay tomorrow. She reassured him it was. Highlight of her day, and she's writing a story at the moment at school. Guess what's going to be in it on Monday? So, yeah, I mean, it was really quite interesting to see the mechanics of it close up. Rhiannon, our royal correspondent, was standing right next to me. William looked up as she kind of called him and went, "Oh, Rhiannon," and then moved on, because clearly today was about the crowds, shaking hands, being seen, not engaging with the media at all. And quite right, there are thousands and thousands of people here. We were in a crush of people that simply filled the entire pavement. You couldn't move at all. Little children on dad's shoulders, on friends' shoulders. In fact, Meghan, it transpires, always gets to the front because she looked so cute. Her mum and dad were actually standing behind me, so I couldn't really talk to her until I checked with them it was okay. They were delighted. She was delighted. Her brother Liam not so delighted because he's now grown up too much. He's not cute anymore, Kay.
Lovely. Thank you. Rhiannon is with us. Rhiannon Mills, of course. We expected them to do a little bit of a walkabout, and they did not disappoint.
We did, because, of course, we saw it ahead of Prince William's wedding outside of Buckingham Palace. Prince Harry and William did a walkabout. So, yeah, I think we were all keeping our fingers crossed that we would see the boys out meeting the crowds. And we were in the ideal spot. I was actually next to David. And I think for Prince William, Prince Harry, David and I were trying to shout the odd question at them. But this wasn't about addressing the media. This was about coming out there and saying thank you to all the crowds that we can see gathering around us now for coming out, making the effort. And for Harry and Meghan, they have always said that they want everyone to feel welcome to this wedding. They want it to feel open and inclusive. And yeah, getting out there and talking to the crowds is just part of that. And they seemed in really good spirits. They bent down and spoke to 2 school children in front of us, one of whom just happened to be called Meghan.
Of course,
yeah, nice.
Of course. What happens now?
So the boys are going to head off to Coworth Park, where they're both going to stay tonight.
I wasn't sure if we could say that or not, but
yeah, no, we can say that.
Okay.
We can say that. Yeah.
It's a beautiful hotel, isn't it, in Ascot?
Yes.
Just up the road.
So it's probably about 25 minutes drive from here. Also a place that they're both really familiar with because they've got polo fields there, and of course we know they're very keen polo players. So they'll both spend the night there, and we know that they're so close as brothers anyway. I'm sure Prince William will be trying to calm his brother down a little bit, or maybe winding him up. When I asked Prince William how he felt to be Harry's best man, he said, "Revenge is sweet, Rhiannon, revenge is sweet." So maybe Prince Harry's dreading that speech that Prince William's got up his sleeve.
And some suggestions that potentially Meghan might have a bit of a speech up her sleeve as well.
Well, she's a very confident, modern woman, isn't she? And we've seen her giving various speeches over the years. One that really stands out is the speech that she gave in front of the UN. And yeah, why not? I think we are looking at a wedding that is going to mix tradition, modernity, and so I think they are going to mix things up a little bit. We will maybe hear about speeches tomorrow as the day goes on. And so there'll be, of course, that reception just after the church service. That happens at St George's Hall. And then there's also going to be that evening do at Frogmore House, where I suspect the couple, away from the cameras, they can let their hair down and really start to enjoy married life together.
Will there be fireworks as well? There was, of course, fireworks after the wedding of Wills and Kate. Their wedding, although it was much grander in scale, I suppose, was actually cheaper, I'm told, than this wedding that is being hosted here in Windsor tomorrow. Is that about right?
Oh, I think the problem is lots of people don't like to talk about the numbers. It's always slightly controversial, but we're always being told that Prince Charles is covering the cost for the main elements of this wedding. So the food, the music, the flowers, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, he's probably picking up a rather hefty bill, I think. If you look at that setting, it's going to be spectacular, isn't it? It's got to be lavish. It's got to be the whole thing.
Beautiful. And look, we've got an absolute ringside seat for you here on Sky News. Don't forget, ultra high definition from 9 o'clock tomorrow. The other side of that wall is where, Anna Botting is standing by for us. People can move around quite easily just at the moment, Anna, but that is all going to change tomorrow.
Yes, we're almost already pretty much on lockdown this side, Kay, I have to say, because for the first time, we are right at the heart of Windsor Castle, now home to 39 monarchs over the last 1,000 years. Beneath us are the Queen's Guards. Behind me, St George's Chapel, the focus, of course, of tomorrow's wedding celebrations. And in fact, the final touches are still being made. The florist, Philippa Craddock, and her team still hard at work trying to fix the south door. The foliage is there. We're told that native trees like silver birch, English oak, beech and ferns will all feature in the floral displays. And the flowers that are on the buckets there, you might be able to see them, roses for Diana, peonies, Meghan Markle's favourite flower, and foxgloves. They are waiting to adorn the south door, which is where most of the guests invited to this wedding will be allowed to enter. Not so the royal family. More on that in just a moment. Well, final wedding rehearsals have been taking place today in this historic building, seeped as it is in history, as our royal commentator Alistair Bruce has been finding out.
Cloistered within the grounds of Windsor Castle, there are clear reasons why Prince Harry and Meghan have chosen to marry here, in St George's Chapel. It is surrounded by ancient battlements, both to contain the ceremony and shelter the couple. a private family chapel. It's one of England's most glorious architectural triumphs.
When Meghan Markle walks into this chapel, she steps onto a royal stage that was envisioned by Edward III at the start of the 100 Years' War and built by Edward IV in 1475.
The architecture is designed to draw the gaze up towards the heavens, but all eyes will be on Miss Markle as she processes towards taking her place in this building's 7 centuries of royal history.